Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode at the Race 5 Smokehouse and Grill. And today we are going to be making one of my favorite sandwiches ever. I came upon this sandwich at a restaurant in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm going to try to recreate it here. Stick around, it's going to be a porchetta sandwich made out of a pork butt. It's going to be great. So I travel to Minneapolis a lot, and one of my friends said, have you ever checked out this place called Northbound Smokehouse and Brewpub? I said, nope, never heard of it, haven't been there. He said he saw it on diners, drive-ins, and dives, so I'm like, all right, let's go check it out. So we went there, and one of the things that I had was this porchetta sandwich that blew my mind. Now, it's not a typical porchetta sandwich because they make it out of a pork butt. Typically, it's pork belly and pork loin with the typical seasoning. So what we're going to do is use a pork butt with the usual seasonings that are used for a porchetta, and we're just going to smoke this, and then we're going to make sandwiches later. So first thing first, so we're going to butterfly it, season the inside, season the outsides, then we're going to put it in a pan with the rest of the ingredients. That's going to go on the grill until it's done, which is going to be about 203 internal. Then after that, we're going to let it rest and then shred it. After we shred it, we're going to put it on the flat top with some grilled onions, the pulled pork, and some Swiss cheese, and make a great sandwich. So first things first is we're going to have to butterfly this. Okay, to butterfly this pork butt, we're literally just going to cut it in half till almost about here, so we can open it up and season the inside. This is bone in, so we got to be careful. We're going to go right above the bone and come out, flip it over. Nice and easy. We want to make sure to keep it connected so it doesn't come apart, but you want to get as much open so you can get as much seasoning as there as possible. All right, now that this is butterflied, we're going to make the rub. So the rub that I'm going to use here, I watched the Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives episode where they made this, and I'm going to kind of try to recreate it based on my eye. They didn't give measurements, they gave the ingredients that they're using. So again, based on my eyeball, these are the measurements that I think that we're going to go for. So first things first, I have about a cup of fennel seed, about a cup of kosher salt, a cup of coarse black pepper. We have some oregano, basil, and garlic powder. The oregano, basil, and garlic powder were all half a cup. So 1 cup of fennel seed, 1 cup of coarse black pepper, 1 cup of kosher salt, half a cup of basil, half a cup of oregano, and half a cup of garlic powder. So now we're going to mix this up and get it good and integrated before we put it in there. Should have used a bigger bowl, but it is what it is. Okay, our rub is mixed, put together. Time to season the inside of this. So I'm going to use a dry hand and a wet hand. I'm going to season it with the dry hand, close it, season. You'll see. So give it a nice liberal seasoning. Get all that good stuff in there. Now, what they did is they hit this with a bunch of garlic cloves. Now, I didn't have all those garlic cloves, but I do have this minced garlic. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pound the inside with garlic. They used a lot of garlic, so we're gonna use a lot of garlic. Now, I don't know if this is going to end up being exactly like they did, but it's going to be close enough, and hopefully it comes out close to as good. All right. Okay, so the garlic and rub is on the inside, so now it's time to fold this back up. Now we're going to hit all the sides with this good rub again. The smell is coming out of this rub is amazing with all these, the fennel and the basil, oregano, the pepper, everything. Time to switch gloves. Yeah, we'll finish with bare hand. It is clean. So now this is nice and good and rubbed up on all sides. Now that this is good and rubbed up on all sides, we're gonna put this in a pan. But first, we have some chopped fennel bulb. We're gonna put this on the bottom, and then we're gonna put some on the top. So first things, put this fennel bulb down here to line it up. Now, fennel bulb at my grocery store was labeled as anise. So if you're looking for this and you can't find it, they may mislabel it. I don't know why, but I even did a Google search, and anise and fennel bulb are basically the same thing. So we're gonna line the pan. Put this in here. And get this guy out of the way. Now we're going to take the rest of this fennel and liberally put it on top. All this stuff is going to bake in nicely, give some great flavor. Okay, so this is done. The last step before we wrap it up and put it on the grill is we're going to add a little bit of beer. They use their porter. I don't have any porter in house, so I'm using Guinness in mine, which I love. So this is actually going to kind of braise it, give it a little bit more flavor as well. Keep the juices in here too, which is going to be nice when we decide to pull it. We're going to pull the pork out. We're going to have all this great juice that we could add back. They didn't show what they did with the leftover fennel and everything. I assume they just knock it off and clean it up. Because I don't think these were in the sandwich that I had. So we'll see how it turns out at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this, put it on the Weber kettle. We're gonna try to keep that Weber kettle between 250 and 275, again, until this reaches an internal temperature about 203. So let's wrap this up, get it on the grill. Okay, we got the wrap on, but what I did is I did kind of keep the edges, the long edges, a little open, just so I can make sure I get a little bit of smoke in here. I do want to get some smoke flavor on here, but again, I'm following the recipe that they show that they do. Typically, I would leave this open, like some smoke it on it, wrap it later, but with all that good fennel and the beer in there, we want to kind of keep everything contained. So we're going to get this on the Weber grill. We're using the slow and sear, but we are not using the water pan because, again, we have this wrap and we have the beer inside here, which is going to keep it moist. Plus, it's a fatty piece of meat anyway, so it should be good. So we're going to get this on, monitor the temp, and we're going to be back in a little while to check on it. Stick around. So this has been on the smoke for about 7 hours. I know the restaurant does it for 13 or 18 or however long they say, but I was only going till about 203. I'm gonna put this in a cooler and let it rest now for an hour or so, and that's when I'm gonna pull it, make sure all those juices redistribute. But first we're gonna take a peek at it, see how it came out here. And first off, I gotta tell you, this smell is unbelievable. Oh yeah. Oh wow, this looks great. Okay, let's get her wrapped back up. Wrap back up, going in the cooler. When we come back in about an hour, we're gonna shred it, throw some on the flat top with cheese and grilled onions, and then we're gonna make our sandwich. We'll be back in about an hour. So this is rested about an hour. Time to take it out and shred it. Still rocket hot. So if you see, there's still a lot of this fennel. I'm just gonna take that off. We don't need that in the sandwich. That would be overpowering on this, so we're just gonna knock this off. Obviously, this is gonna be super tender because it's been basically braising in its own juices and that beer. I mean, look at this. Afraid this is gonna fall apart on me taking it. Yep, there it goes. Yeah, that falls right apart. Clean bone. Still trying to keep those big hunks of fennel out of there as much as possible. We'll keep this juice. We'll add a little bit back here in a minute. Time to shred, nice and easy. Look, yeah, get some of that out of there. Oh man, this smells so good. All right, I gotta try a piece of this before we make our sandwiches. Oh man, so many flavors. Oh. All right, get back at it. This is delicious. Trying to get all these bigger chunks broken down before we make the sandwiches. Okay, so this is gonna go onto the flat top, a couple portions. I got some onions on, so let's go over to the flat top and we'll build these sandwiches. Okay, we've got the onions going nice here. First thing we're gonna do is we're going to get our buns on here, get those nice and toasted up. We're gonna use a little mayonnaise on some ciabatta bread. A little tip that I've learned recently is the mayo on the ciabatta bread. And this is gonna brown up real nice, just like butter. Now as these buns toast up, I'm gonna hit this with a little olive oil because this is where our meat's gonna go. But first, spread that around a little bit. Put some of these great onions down here. Get these over to this side. I got the right side a little bit cooler. Then you take the great pork, put that pork right on top. Pile it on there. We're gonna throw a couple pieces of Swiss cheese, one on each. We're gonna melt that up real nice by throwing a dome over the top of it. Gonna let that melt down. As soon as that's done melting, we're gonna come back and build these sandwiches. Okay, these are looking about ready here. Gonna get this hot dome off. Got the nice toasted up bun. There you go, you build your sandwich. Make sure you don't lose any. And Sammy number 2. Sandwiches are made. I'm gonna cut and check these bad boys out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a perfect sandwich. Not much else to say about it. There's nothing more you could do to this thing to make it any better. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Let us know that we're doing something good over here. We appreciate it. Thanks. Cheers, everybody. Take care.